Hey guys, I hope that everybody's doing okay. Everybody's still sleeping in my house, so I'm gonna try to be as quiet as possible but still get my message out. I've got my notebook in front of me. I was just sitting here thinking about what others think and what others say about you should never, ever, ever make you flinch anymore. They should never influence you anymore. Um, I don't know what I would do without God. I don't know where I would be, or I don't even want to think about that fact. But I do know, coming from someone who has put others first, always, doesn't matter who it was, even children, everything, um, it always pulled me backwards. And even over your adult children or your younger children, as long as you're showing them a life in Jesus and how they should go, they will not depart from it. But for you to take on every burden, every inclination, everything that they're trying to put on you without them doing the work in Jesus, then you're becoming a hindrance to them, if that makes sense. I'm grateful for the times that I went through and the challenges that I went through, because it taught me more than ever and more than anything to lean and trust on the Lord and have faith in God in every and anything that I do or say or move in. And in the same way, you have to allow that to happen in your children and in your husband and in your wife or whoever it might be that's trying to leap and they haven't done the work. They have the same opportunity as you did to be refined and go through the fire and do the work and pray and be in tears and you know what I mean, and be changed and molded into a creation and in Christ that can be used by the Lord. Otherwise, if they keep fighting that, if they keep depending on you to get them out or depending on you to get the blessings that God is getting you, they're never going to learn. So you've got to step out of the way sometimes, and you've got to allow for God to do in them what He did in you. You've got to allow that. You've got to allow that. And as much as you love your children, and as much as you love your spouse, your sister, your mom, your grandma, whoever it might be, you have to remember that the reason that you're getting the things that you're getting and the reason why the blessings are coming to you and you're finally starting to see improvement and you're finally being used by the Lord and people are admiring you and they're like, wow, is because you didn't just get a slap on the hand. You went through the fire, you went through the fire. I can look at my life. I can go back and look at my life, and this is me not bragging at any point of time, but I can go back and look at my life and say, wow, I have been blessed my whole life. The Lord has made it so that even at each challenging step or financial hindrance, He's always provided enough. He's always made sure that I have an abundance of what I need in that time frame. And even if it wasn't right then and there, I can definitely see where He made it happen. And like I said, that's not for me to brag, but if you want to look at it this way and say, you know what, the Lord has blessed me and I've done the work and I'm continuing to do the work, but then every time you get blessed, you're giving it away. You're feeling guilty because you feel like you need to help so and so, or give this to so and so, or give that to so and so. But those are your blessings that God blessed you with. Unless God said, do that, those are yours. And I hate to use the word selfish because that's not something that I want to say that I am, but I have learned to become a little bit selfish with the things that I do give people from now on, because it's like you give people things, but for what? For them to treat you the same old way, for them to be mean to you, for them to use you and think that, okay, they gave me this time, I know I'm going to get it next time, or I can get it next time, or whatever the case may be. It just makes them feel entitled, especially in a self-absorbent culture and world that we're in. The generation that we are in now, their thought is, I don't have to do the work. I don't want to. I don't want to do the work. I don't have to do the work. I don't have to do this. I don't have to do that because it's going to be handed to me anyway, you know? And so at some point you need to stop being the hander over and hand them over to the Lord. to let the Lord deal and handle with them, because it's only bringing you down. It's only, it's only, I'm going to say it like it is. It is only sucking the life out of you. It really is. It's sucking the daylights out of you. It's not helping you, and it's certainly not helping them, you know? You may think in your heart you're being a good person by giving them this and giving them that. But truth be told, if they have not done the work that you have done, why? Why do you need to give what you've worked so hard for and what you have cried over and toiled over and sweated over, and bled over? Let's just say that. Why are we giving that so willingly to them that have not done that? And on top of that, have they made the choice to give their life over to Jesus? Do they really need this? Are they really in of need? If they're really in of need and God has said, okay, go ahead and help and bless this person, then fine. But most of the time, that's not the case. Let's just be honest with ourselves. It's not the case. And that's just the heart that we have. We want to give. We want to help. We want to see people succeed and do good and do well, but when we become the hindrance to them in their walk, in their journey with God, so much so that they don't even want God because they're going to get it from you, then we are not doing any justice. And we need to take a step back and think about it and pray about it and bring that situation and that person back to God. Because we need to save that energy, that effort, those blessings, those things that God has put in our lives for our purposes in Him, for the things that He has us moving forward in Jesus for. You never know if that money you just gave away was going to help your ministry, in succeeding and going that much further and that much higher in the Lord and helping someone who truly needed it, you know? And I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about your time, even your words of encouragement. Sometimes people just don't even want to hear it. I can't tell you how many times people have called me for an encouragement, or they've asked me to give them something, but then they dump all of this craziness onto me, and I'm left with this with this craziness, and I'm like, did they even hear what I said? Did they even care what I said? Sometimes I just feel like I need to shut my mouth and or not answer the phone or answer the email or whatever it might be. I do feel that way sometimes because I feel drained, and I feel less than, in a way, because they just sucked the life out of me and used me yet again to uplift them, and didn't even hear a word that I said, really. But their problem is so much greater and bigger than any okay, so even if I try to reciprocate and try to let them know exactly how I'm feeling, it's almost like they don't hear what I'm saying. Forget what your problems are, forget what you're going through. This is what I'm going through. So it's these kind of people, you just have to pick and choose how you're going to move forward with them in a godly manner. In other words, you need to give them to God, and stop answering that phone and stop letting them drain you, spiritually, mentally, because we're on our journey and we're on our walk as well. And I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I'm just not mentally prepared to handle somebody else's stuff, especially if they claim to be in the Lord. Let them be in the Lord. Let them take it before God and get the answers. Isn't that what we do? Isn't that what I know? That's what I have to do. I can't tell you the countless nights that I have poured my heart out to God, asking Him to help me, asking Him to give me grace, asking Him to help me get through another day. That's probably my biggest prayer. Lord, help me. Lord, help, 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 help. Lord, save me. Lord, hear my cry. So, in the same way, you have to allow these people to do the same thing. If they're not praying about it, and if they're not reaching out to the Lord, what can you truly do to help them for real? There's not really much that you can do or say to change their situation that much, especially if they're the kind of people that are always dumping on you, you know? And so they have to counteract that with Jesus, you know? That's what they have to do. And this is not trying to put anybody down, you know, but it is giving a wake up call. Like, wake up and turn to Jesus, turn to God. We all have something we're going through. We all have struggles that we're struggling through. We all have problems that we don't have the answers to, you know? We all are. And in the same way, we all have to go to Jesus for those answers and for our help and for our guidance and for our strength and for our love and for everything, you know, everything, everything. So don't allow what others think and say about you to dictate you anymore, you know, and don't allow those that seek to use and drain you to do that anymore. You have a mission in life to fulfill and to accomplish. You do. Help who you can help along the way, who God calls you to help. But as far as those people that just continually suck the life out of you, let them go. Let them go, let them go, and give them to God. Let them go and give them to God. And yeah, you're going to feel a little bad about it, but they have to go through the same things that you have gone through. They've got to be shaped and molded into what God is calling them to. And there is no shortcuts. There is no cutting the corner, you know. We all have to go through it. We all do. Okay? So, I love you guys. I hope you guys have a good day. Bye.